Hey team, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. This is going to be our third video this week. This one's on the Marshall Plan. But also before we get into it a little bit, make sure you're also seeing that our first e-learning assignment's posted. It's right underneath this folder. It's the e-learning assignment number one. So you open that up and this document will appear. And just make sure you follow the directions. So you got three questions here that you need to write out your response to. Just type it out in this, and then you'll just submit it to me, and then we'll be able to grade it for you. Please make sure you're keeping up with these. These can definitely help your grade out a lot, especially those of you who maybe haven't handed some things in. This is a great chance to recoup some of those points and really put yourself in a good spot. So, just like the directions say, you'll need this week's information to be able to answer these questions. You'll need the consumerism folder, the counterculture folder, and the Marshall Plan folder. So, if you have any difficulties opening this assignment or anything that you're unclear about, please let me know and I'll certainly clear it up. Make sure you're doing this assignment as well. All right, so let's talk about the Marshall Plan a little bit and what it was and its role in the Cold War. Ooh. Well, this was Europe after World War II. Uh-oh, uh-oh, right? It is a ramshackle, destroyed mess. This was a war that lasted for 6 years and left the continent in ruins. So, where does America fall into this? Well, America has now emerged as a global leader to a great extent. And thus, they have maybe not obligation, but an interest in Europe coming out of this, and for a lot of reasons. So what they come up with is something called the Marshall Plan, and this gives 12, some even say as high as $13 billion to help rebuild war-torn Europe. Right? Talking about all the dollar signs you see is how much money a place took. France took a lot. Italy took a lot. The UK took a lot. This is an incredible influx of American cash into this continent. And why would America spend billions of dollars outside of its own country? Well, lots of reasons. Here you can see the Marshall Plan was almost an endorsement deal, right? Everything that gets sent to Europe has this not necessarily sticker, but at least this sign. So if you're in France and a new school's built up, you see slapped all over it, courtesy of America. It's going to make you feel a certain way about America. It's an endorsement. Just like I said this in class, if we were endorsed by Nike and they gave us shoes, clothes, they probably wouldn't be too happy if they saw us in Adidas stuff the next day. So, in a lot of ways, this is America buying influence. But it's more than just that as well. How much do you think this 50s consumerism we saw in America will extend here? Not very far in this state. Where's the franchises being built? Where's the trade? Non existent. So America, if it helps these continents recover, will develop a new trading partner. Something that will be very valuable. And a third reason we saw the horrible conditions Germany was in after World War One and what that led to World War Two. So let's try to not repeat those same mistakes. Still, plenty of countries aren't taking money. Poland, Czechoslovakia, Romania, the Soviet Union. Yeah, tons of countries are not taking Marshall Plan dollars. And it's not because they're not offered, they certainly are. But just as we referred to it as an endorsement deal, well, maybe not everyone wants to be endorsed by America, which is strange. This is a Russian image from World War II. We're best friends. It's the Americans, the British, the Russians, side by side. Yet, oh, continuation here, right? Against the common foe, Hitler. Yet, now this is the depiction of Americans, the enemy. And that's a big shift. So, if America is trying to extend its influence through the Marshall Plan, that means someone else is going to lose influence. And that's what the Soviet Union at least saw it as a threat to their own influence and power over the region. Thus, The Soviets refused to take part and even refused to allow those around them to take part. And this is kind of clear. The Soviets are still angry with the US use of atomic weapons in World War II. They fear that America is trying to really buy popularity. So we're pretty much, as soon as World War II ends, seeing a competition. Not a war, even though we'll call it the Cold War, but a competition for power, influence, and kind of authority over the world. Who will own that? Will it be the US? Will it be the Soviet Union? This is no clearer than in Germany, how we saw physical divisions, not just metaphoric ones anymore. The country of Germany divided into four sections, which would then unify into two sections, West Germany and East. And then even the city of Berlin inside Russian controlled East Germany, following similar divisions. Here's a little video for you. You can certainly watch it. It goes over the Marshall Plan just like I did, in case you want another layer to it. But we understand this as one of the first kind of linchpins that lead us to the Cold War, this rivalry between America and the Soviet Union that'll go on for at least 45 years. We'll talk more about that later. But just a reminder, please get that first e-learning assignment in. It's posted under the e-learning folder. It'll open up the Google Doc, type in your response, and make sure you submit it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Talk to you later.